want to introduce Pamela Milford, who's the legal representative this time instead of our normal officer. So welcome. I've told her who everyone is as you came in, so we don't have to introduce ourselves. Item 1 is apologies for absence.
Thank you, Chair. We have apologies from Councillor Will Thomas, and then we have apologies from Rob Stewart, Andrea Lewis, and Andrew Stevens, Mark Wade, and Stuart Davis.
I think I've seen Will up there, right? See Will on the screen?
Yeah, just apologies. He said his apologies.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So he's on.
Right, 2 is disclosures of personal and prejudicial interests.
It's in the main item 4, phase 2 work plan, as a member of staff for Pembrokeshire Air Trust, and it's in relation to the destination management plan. Okay.
Right, thank you. 3 then is to approve and sign the minutes of the previous meeting as a correct record. If you look at the minutes, we did our work plan discussion, and I know there was a number of items there which I did point out that whether we would be looking at them or the climate change would be looking at them. Well, they've already had their meeting and they have pinched 1 or 2. So there's things like maybe the green fleet hydro sites, and we were looking at solar panels. This now all comes under them, so that's less for us. So if somebody will move the minutes as a correct record, okay, thanks. Moved and seconded.
Second.
Thank you. So we all agree with that. Thanks. 4 then is to look at our work plan in more detail and see where we put them on in the list of how we're going to look at them. So over to you, Phil.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. So the purpose of this report really is just to provide a draft outline of a potential work programme. You've got that in section 2 of the report. Just a few things to acknowledge. First of all, I think it's important to note that the work programme should be aligned with the Council's policy commitments and our corporate priorities. I think that's important. It's also important that the work programme is a manageable work programme and it's prioritised. Obviously, making the best use of the time of the committee. Clearly, it's about having defined outputs within realistic timescales and taking on board the resources available. That's important too. And the other thing I'd say as well is this work programme and the work of this committee shouldn't overlap with scrutiny. Obviously, that's a separate area of the Council's business. So the programme that you see in the report was drafted following discussions between the Director and the Cabinet members.
Can you wait a minute, Phil? Let me sort this out. I'm telling everybody what to do. That's all right. Okay, carry on now, Phil.
Okay, thanks, Chair. Yeah, the work programme that you'll find in section 2, it's been broken down into 2 phases. Just in terms of, I'm trying to give an idea of what the priorities may be. But before members discuss the programme, the only thing I'd say is that whilst there's no direct financial implications at this stage with the work programme, then obviously any policies or strategies that this committee comes up with, they will go to Cabinet and they may well have financial implications at that stage. But of course, that's something for Cabinet to consider at that time. So just looking at the actual work programme itself, I mentioned that there's 2 phases identified. So the first phase has got 5 ideas, if you like. It's called the MAT. The first one is to produce a local economic development plan for Swansea. Obviously, we've got a regional plan in place, but there has been some discussion about how that translates into a local plan, and looking at some of the priorities that may come out of that, such as supporting entrepreneurs and growing local businesses. So that's one idea. There's another idea around Swansea residents rewards. I know there's some work going on that already from a sort of digital point of view. Another idea is to look at Swansea-based strategy and how a policy could give more direction in terms of some of the developments and enhancements that we'd like to see around the bay. Another one is looking at the provision of parking spaces and public highway access. And then there's also one in there within the first phase, looking at the Towey River corridor strategy. So if you think of all the sort of developments that are taking place, all the conservation works around the Habit Copper works, having a more sort of strategic policy position to inform that. And then, of course, the phase 2 stuff, obviously there's enough there in phase 1, but phase 2 might include a destination management plan policy, highways asset management plan, evening nighttime economy policy. That's a growing area of our work, and also in there as well, traffic calming and speed control. So that's all I wanted to say, Chair, in terms of the draft work plan, and I'll hand it back to you for discussion.
Right, thank you, Phil. Before we go in, I can't see anybody. Like, this has gone to the management team, it's gone to cabinet members, and looking at this and speaking to 1 or 2 of you, that the economic development plan does look a big one, and I think that should be the theme running through each committee meeting. If there's anything that we can add, or whether any of the meetings then would have to be held either in camera if they are sensitive, but that's up to the advice from the officers. So I don't know if anybody else got any views on how we should, like, if I'm just looking at it straight away, I look at Swansea residents rewards, and I think this could be what I call a quick win.
Yeah.
Because I think it's in the grapevine now, and it's up to us to push it forward, not look back to see what's happened in the past, but to take it forward. And we don't know, we may want to invite people along, especially in the business community in Swansea, to see what their views are. So anybody else before?
Yes, Chair. Yeah, I'm very grateful to see this now within our work plan, because I still got the original Swansea City loyalty card, which is tremendous success within the city and county of Swansea. And in these current times, that people are obviously, with the cost of living and things like that, and of course, the effectiveness as well. I think a scheme like this would be very, very advantageous to us as a council in promoting this new card system, and it would really be really beneficial to the citizens in the city and county of Swansea.
Yeah, thanks for that, Mike. I know the card doesn't work anymore. Paul first.
Yeah, I only wish it would. Yeah, thanks, Chair. I'm just looking at reading through the schemes before we came in, and I'm thinking that what Mike is saying, I agree with. And as you say, it'd be a fairly quick win, so I'm no problem with that. But then I wonder then, where should the Towey River corridor strategy be one of the top priorities, bearing in mind that the city centre is well on the way now, and the regeneration of that, and then developments going on there. And I would have thought, I possibly hoped, that would be then one of the next things the council would be tackling. So whether we'd have this committee's views on it then. I know we have already in the past council, we had presentations and an agreed, a way forward there, but I see here new strategies on whether the councillors rethinking that? No, that perhaps like get that answered, and then but I would like to suggest that it's one of the top priorities for us.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. I know a lot of work was done in the previous meetings, and we did have a site visit on the boat. So, before I call Phil back in, Stuart.
Yeah, I mean, in complete agreement with the priorities and the approach that you're suggesting there, Chair. And just to reflect what Councillor White and Lloyd said, that there's a quick win available here with the rewards scheme, and I think it's something that will be relatively quick to pull together and present. Hopefully, we can have an impact in the months leading up to Christmas and such on. We'll see what the time frame is. And in terms of the local economic development plan, I think, as you suggested, having a theme that ran through all of the meetings this year would be good, because there are many constituent parts to it. And I think it'd be really good to look at the Associated British Ports vision, which is quite a good area, and what we've put forward as an idea for the levelling up funding and how that can help support any plan going forward. And I do agree that Towie River Corridor is a key area, because there's lots of investment there, as with Swansea Bay. One area which is interconnected to Swansea Bay, and some of the things that we've been talking about, is an area of the evening and nighttime economy, because that's quite a key area. And I know it's in the second work phase, but I think that's still quite a priority that we could look at.
Okay, I can't see anybody else. Yeah, Phil, would you like to respond to the suggestions made?
I agree. I agree with what's been said. I think the nature of the local economic development plan work, it is a sort of a slower burn, because it is more strategic. It's multifaceted. So I tend to agree that making that a theme for the year, if you like, or however long it takes, and to bring updates and thoughts on that, and to develop it as a bit of a program in its own right, that would work. That would really help my service, to be honest. Yeah, the Swansea rewards stuff, I think that could be a quick win, elements of it, I'm sure, but that would be for others to other officers to advise on that. Towie Riverside, yeah, it's when you think of what's going on there with Penderyn, with Skyline, with our levelling up bid, and if that's successful, that really will see that sort of whole area really take off. So I think it would be a good opportunity for this committee to help with having a strategic sort of input into that. There's lots of thinking already done in it, I'll be honest with you, but I think it would really help in terms of knitting some of that together, and giving Cabinet then a sort of a high level plan in that area for the future. So yeah, happy with that. And then in terms of evening nighttime economy, it is a big area for us. So if that were to come forward as part of this year's work, I would probably suggest perhaps towards the latter end of the year, but certainly the input would be valued in terms of developing the thinking on that.
Yeah, thank you, Phil. Stuart?
Yeah, just a very quick question. You mentioned there, Phil, about the levelling up bid. Could you just tell us what that is? Because unfortunately, I don't know the details of that.
Yeah, it's a bid which links the if you like, that sort of Copperworks area with the city centre. So lots of infrastructure, lots of reclamation, enhancement works of buildings. So it's very much building on the themes that we already have in terms of revitalisation of that whole corridor. So that's coming to fruition now, and that will be submitted very, very shortly.
There we are. Thanks for that, Phil. Can I suggest then that for the next meeting is that we put the Swansea Residents Reward on the agenda, and then, as you can see, the officer Sarah Lackenby, she can the report and come along and present the report, and then we know where we are at this moment in time and how we move forward on it. Like I said, we'll see if other people, we need to invite other people to the meeting, we will. So are we happy with that? And then I'll speak to Phil outside the meeting with regards to the development plan itself, how we want to play that. Because what we don't want to do there, because like you said, the Swansea Residents Reward is part of the economy development plan. So you don't introduce things as we're going through the year and say, oh, we introduce this. So we should look at the theme and then see as we go through. And then should we put the river corridor then as the second one? We'll discuss outside the meeting to see how long it'll be, because we don't want to spend like all the afternoon on 2 items when we can put 100% into one of them, and let's see where we go from there. And then the Swansea Bay development sites. I know some of these are we could be going into camera pretty early in some of these meetings due to the sensitivity of these areas. So are you happy with that first? Everybody's nodding. And Phil, are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy with that, Chair.
Mike?
Yeah, could I just ask Chris in regards to the with the first one that we want to put forward, would it be any benefits to perhaps, you know, Chair mentioned about bringing other people on board with us, if perhaps if we could perhaps contact Russell Greenstead and Lisa Wells to see if they, you know, we can get them in ready so that they can, you know, see where we want to go, and they can help obviously push this forward with us.
Yeah, thanks for that,
Mike. Any
Mike.
benefit, Chair?
Yeah, I think the reason I didn't mention it is because if we get the report from Cedros, it's already been done. So we don't know how far this has gone down the line. So the next meeting, we will know more about it. And then, you know, within the month after, hopefully, if we need somebody, then we will. We may not, because knowing Russell, he's already got in on the bottom step, like. Is there anything else? No. That's it. This is going to be a short meeting, even shorter than the last one, I think. But the next one won't be. So we're all happy with it, with that program we've got. And then as we go along, we don't want to make a bigger program now, because we don't know how the other programs are going to pan out. Right. And like I said, you know, in the future, we could be meeting with the climate change to do something jointly. So we don't fill it all up. So, okay, if everybody's happy, that's the end of the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.